What's going on, everybody? Ryan Thompson, the Assumable Guy. This is the Assumable Guy Show. Today we're tackling the question I teased last episode. Can you assume a USDA loan? Almost nobody talks about these. And they sit in the exact areas where prices are still reasonable. This one's for buyers hunting outside the big cities, in the small towns where a normal family can still afford a house. And if there's any chance you'd ever buy a home from family, do not skip this one, because there's a hack in here just for you. Here we go. The answer is yes. USDA loans are assumable. It's written right into the loan docs, same as FHA and VA. So if a lender or an agent tells you a USDA loan flat out cannot be assumed, they're wrong. And now you'll know more than they do. Quick background if you've never looked at one of these. A USDA loan is a rural development loan, zero down, backed by the government, made for homes in eligible rural and small town areas. And there are way more of them out there than people think. A ton got written in 2020 and 2021 when rates were in the 2s and low 3s. So right now, there are USDA loans sitting on homes with killer rates attached, right? Now, before we all get too excited, I want to make this super clear. USDA is the odd one out of the three. With FHA and VA, when you assume the loan, you take over the seller's rate. That's the whole play. Their 2.5 becomes your 2.5. USDA plays by a different rule, and here's what most people don't realize. Most USDA assumptions are done at what's called new rates and terms. You take over the loan, but the lender resets the rate to today's rate. I know what you're thinking. Wait, what? So what's the point, Ryan? If I don't get the 2.5, why am I even listening to this? Totally fair. If you're a regular buyer walking in off the street, a USDA assumption usually will not hand you the seller's rate. I'd rather tell you that straight than have you chase one for 3 weeks and get your heart broken. But there's an exception, and it's a big one. USDA allows what's called same rates and terms assumptions in specific situations. The main one is family. When the home transfers between family members, the original rate can transfer with it. Why would the government let a family member keep the rate but not a regular buyer? Think about that for a second. The USDA program was never about trading rates. It's about keeping families in rural homes. So when a home stays inside the family, the rate stays too. So little hack for you. What if your parents or your grandma or your brother bought a place in 2020 with a USDA loan? Say your parents are sitting on a loan balance around $310,000 at 2.75%, and they're ready to downsize. If you were ever going to buy that house from them anyway, that rate can come with the house. The payment on that balance at 2.75 is around $1,260 a month. The exact same loan, brand new, at 6.5%, close to $2,000 a month. That's almost $700 a month staying in your family instead of going to a bank. Grandma's old rate might be the best inheritance in the house. A couple things to know before you run off and call your uncle. You still have to qualify with the lender. This is a real assumption. Lender involved the whole way, fully legal, not some handshake deal. USDA also has household income caps, so your income has to fit under the limit for that county. And the house is already in an eligible area, so that part's handled. It's paperwork, not magic, right? And set your expectations on timeline. Just like FHA and VA assumptions, the lender is not in a hurry. Give it 45 to 90 days and don't plan a hard move-out date around it. The rate is worth the patience. So where does that leave you if you're not buying from family? This is where it gets awesome, because the answer is usually sitting right next door. Those same small towns are loaded with FHA and VA loans too, and those do hand you the seller's rate. My list has over 1,200 assumable properties across Colorado, and the average rate on it is right around 3%. Plenty of them sit in the same areas where USDA loans live. Pueblo, Fountain, the smaller towns up and down the Front Range. And here's the kicker. Only about 25% of assumable homes are even tagged in the MLS. 75% are invisible if you're only reading listings. The house you drove past last weekend might have a 2.75% loan on it and nobody's advertising it. I do all the heavy lifting to find those. That's the whole reason the list exists. So when we work together, we check the loan type on day one before we fall in love with anything. FHA or VA, we go get that rate. USDA, we know exactly what we're dealing with before we write a thing. Let me tell you about Jeremy, because this is the part that blows people's minds. Jeremy put $15,000 down on a $380,000 property and took over a 2.65% rate. His payment on that loan is around $1,470 a month. A brand new loan on that same house at 6.5% would be about $2,300. That's over $800 a month. $800 on the same house, close to $10,000 a year. That's a real family vacation every single year, plus maxing out a retirement account. And Jeremy didn't need a USDA loan to do it. He needed to know which homes had the right loan on them. Now, sellers, quick word for you, because this changes your game plan too. If you've got a USDA loan and you're selling on the open market, don't build your whole listing around the rate, because most buyers can't take it at your rate. But if anyone in your family has ever said, I'd buy this place from you someday, that conversation just got very real. And if it turns out you've got an FHA or VA loan instead of USDA, completely different story. That rate is your biggest marketing advantage, and marketing it brings in more offers of every kind. I promise you. 5 minutes spent checking the loan type is worth more than a month of scrolling listings. It can literally be a $10,000 a year difference. It's about the math. All right, let's go get some sweet properties. I'm Ryan Thompson. This is the Assumable Guy Show. If you want to know whether a home has an assumable loan on it or what type it is, hit up assumableguy.com or DM me on Instagram at the.assumable.guy. I'll run the numbers for you. No pressure, just math. Next episode, we're digging into what happens when the seller has a second mortgage on the property. Most buyers assume that kills the deal, and they walk away from killer rates for no reason. I'll show you when it actually matters and the move that keeps your assumption alive. See you on the next one.